All right, let's go to the W now because the Fever are red hot, getting it done too without Caitlin Clark. The last time the Indiana Fever won 5 in a row, Clark was leading the surge. Now with Clark sidelined due to a right groin injury, this run feels a little different. The Fever outlasted the Storm on Sunday. They'll aim for 6 in a row tonight against the Sparks in Los Angeles. Let's welcome in women's sports analyst Ari Chambers here. And Ari, what difference have you noticed in this Fever team during this stretch?
The only difference is they've had more time in a position where they could have plummeted with an injury to their superstar the way that it has happened and played out. They've been able to recover and get the ball distributed, everybody involved. Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Howard have all improved their scoring averages in the absence of their star player, Caitlin Clark. And then you have an Ari McDonald who's beautifully stepped into a high-pressure role with great pace, IQ, and readiness. And Coach Stephanie White attributed to it 3 C's. That's chemistry, connectivity, and cohesion, right? So, like, these athletes have been able to have each other's back, and that's a good testament of the Indiana Fever locker room.
No doubt. You know, they haven't won 6 in a row since 2015. So if they get it done tonight, they're really going to be on a different trajectory.
And we know what happened in the teens with Indiana Fever.
Okay, look at Ari. She just keeps dropping the knowledge. The WNBA trade deadline now fast approaching. It comes up on Thursday. What is something that stood out to you about the moves that teams have been making thus far?
I am looking at the reunions. First up, New York Liberty is Natasha Cloud and Emma Meeseman. If this pair looks familiar, it's because they won a championship with the WNBA in 2019, and Emma reaps the benefits now of a more developed point guard in Natasha Cloud. When they last played together, Emma won Finals MVP, which isn't that far off from how she's been doing in EuroLeague. But my only concern when it comes to Emma is she's a forward with great shooting ability, but the ball distribution of the Liberty. How do they get the ball around? They have such great scores in Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquel Jones, Leonie Fibich. Who's the ball going to go to when it comes to the Liberty? Then you have Alyssa Peely to the Sparks. Now, I'm looking at this team saying, hey, they already have De'Erica Hamby, Azurá Stevens, Rakia Jackson, Cameron Brink. So it's still pending on how she'll fit in, but this is a reunion with her and her former collegiate coach, Lynn Roberts from Utah. And if you want to showcase why you should have a job in the WNBA, what better chance than to do it with a coach who is very familiar with your game? So if there's any opportunity that will present itself, it's with a familiar coach. Then we have the winners of the reunion in my eyes, DiJonai Carrington to the Minnesota Lynx. She fits in good with their system. She's a spark who can defend and energize the entire game. Individually, her defense leads to her offense between deflections, steals, getting the bucket, and transition. But as far as a team perspective, she relieves the pressure for a lot of the players who have had to do both sides of the floor. She can give that defense so that they can just focus on filling that offensive deficiency now that Napheesa Collier is injured.
Okay, well, you mentioned the injury to Napheesa Collier, and adding someone like DiJonai Carrington obviously helps with depth, right? Because Napheesa is reportedly going to miss at least 2 weeks with that ankle injury and that ankle sprain. How much do you think her loss is going to impact a team like the Lynx that everyone's chasing in the W?
Short answer, if you're the Minnesota Lynx, you want Napheesa Collier back. But the Lynx have positioned themselves in an interesting position, having a 5.5 game lead on the second place team, which is the New York Liberty. And to give you a scope on how big that gap is, between 2 and 10, the New York Liberty with the Los Angeles Sparks, that's the next 5.5 game stretch. So the Lynx have positioned themselves to be a very good playoff team in the top spot, but they're going to want their core back.
Yeah, of course. And so we'll all wait and see how Fee comes back again. It might, only 2 weeks. Maybe it won't go as long as it feels like it might. I don't know.
If I'm the Lynx, I'm hoping. Right? I'm hoping it's only 2 weeks.
Fingers crossed. Ari, we appreciate you. Thanks, girl.